Hello friend, welcome back to Toyota Maintenance YouTube channel.
Here in the shop we have 2003 Toyota Tacoma SR5 V6 manual with approximately 161,000 miles on the odometer. Incredible classic, will you not agree? And this is a new customer.
I'm very honored because this customer heard about me and he traveled just to get in my shop for 2.5 hours. Wow, that's so far definitely a record, and I better do my best work for him.
He recently bought it. I scanned the computer already so he can smog it today here in California. That's great to transfer it. And he immediately hired a local dealer like a week ago to replace the spark plugs and spark plug wires. Well, immediately when we opened the hood together in the parking lot as an introductory, I immediately pointed out to him that these wires were crossing each other here incorrectly. Also, the technician was in too much hurry to connect this where it belongs. It came with a new mount, but he didn't use the new one or put it in the old one, whatever. So tech was in hurry and unfortunately showed us half-ass job already. For the spark plugs, of course, he had this pipe out to get a nice access. Well, did he took time to put it here back in these hooks? Of course not. So, you know, it confirms when you work at the dealer you are under time pressure, and unfortunately you skip the small stuff.
On test drive, it drives pretty good. I like it. It's a 4-wheel drive, so they are kind of rough. They are not very soft, correct? But that's very comparable. What else we saw? We are looking on 614 sticker. So this battery we will test it, but I think the tester will say no, it's not good because it's aged. But we will see. Clutch fluid is dark, so that needs to be flushed. Brake fluid is better. It's a classic. People will do the brake fluid flush and they will completely ignore that clutch fluid. It should be done in the same time, correct? It's aging the same way. For some reason here, this whole intake, it's new. I don't think it's sandblasted. It seems to be new, so we don't know why. We immediately saw typical cracking on those. Hopefully you can see it. This one actually, if you look, even without touching it, it's completely gone. So this is just start when we were together having conversation over his new truck, and then I test drove it, scanned the computer. What do you say to this? What shall I write him? Replace in future, replace soon, or replace ASAP? What do you say? Let's go together. Look on very often overlooked sensor which is communicating with the computer, with ECM. It's a MAF sensor. This connector wasn't removed for a while, that's for sure. I'm pushing on it as hard as I can and wiggling it, and it doesn't want to go. Let's try again. Okay, so here is the connector. You know, this MAF has two very small, oh yeah, that was tight. Two very small screws, don't ever drop them. It'll be hard to find them somewhere inside of the truck. And let's continue together our inspection. I cannot film everything. As you can imagine, I have to keep going. I have more cars today. But here you have a peek what I do at my shop when somebody hires me to do absolute detailed inspection of their new purchase. Ideally you purchase it, you buy the inspection before purchase, but yeah, sometimes it's not possible. So now for you, the mouth. So the wire should be shiny. Look again, one side it's completely dark. Here the wire is dark because it's wrapped by the dirt coming from a dirty air filter this way. The other side facing the engine is clean and shiny. So that's how you see that I will write him MAF sensor clean in the future. This is not something he has to do immediately. We will see what we will find later. There might be more pressing issues which the importance will be higher. Now let's go and look together on the throttle body, shall we? So I used a 10mm here and carefully loosen the clamps. Now I will give you good advice. This one it's okay. When you are tightening this one, don't go too hard, because that plastic piece, it's very easy to crush it and it will collapse inside and it will start actually sucking false air. I will show you right now. This part, it's not very hard, and if you overdo the pressure on this, you will crush it. It will collapse inside, and here you have all false air, yet the MAF sensor here in front is telling you completely incorrect data, and you have a problem. So I'm having a little bit always problem because I don't want to get in front of the camcorder. So excuse my weirdness, grabbing it weirdly, but normally I stand differently. What do you think? How looks that throttle body? I finally involved some light for you so you can see nicely. I think I will zoom in because I will get in the way of the light. So what do you say? That should be clean, don't you think? Especially when the idle air should be coming around the butterfly. This is 2003 model. Let's move it carefully. See. See that butterfly valve moving nicely? So that should be all clean down there. Definitely we need to put it in the comments. That was the throttle body. What if you look with me on this side of the engine? What do you see? What you will say to this owner? I will say you have a valve cover gasket leak. There's definitely no spill from somebody filling the oil. That could happen on this side. Sometimes you might think, oh, it's your valve cover gasket. No, it's just somebody was in a hurry and spilled the oil. But it's the opposite this time. This side it's actually leaking way worse. You see how it's soaked with the oil. So I will have to write it in the comments. Look also on the back. That's all of us there. See that? So valve covers gaskets and the spark plug tube gaskets should be redone. Now, I don't trust this dealer. I'm being also paid for inspecting this vehicle. Let's go and see if they put the correct spark plug. So we are together on the passenger side. What are the numbers for these cylinders? I will let you first say it. What did you say? You can maybe see it here. It's written on the wires. So it's a 1, 3, 5. On the opposite side, starting from front, it will be 2, 4, 6. Let's go and inspect cylinder number 1, the spark plugs. So I will unclip this electrical connector. Then I have a 10 millimeter and remove that entire coil. Yeah, this looks pretty okay. I will normally wipe it off and clean it if it was me doing those spark plugs. Right? Why is it so dusty and dirty? But again, we know, all of us, we know, if you are working for a dealer, you are in hurry. Everything needs to be done ASAP. So 5/8 extended spark plug socket. I will use only manual tools for this, no power tools. Let's see if they put torque. Not bad, it was definitely not loose, so I think the torque was correct on the spark plug. Let's see what they put in. Boom, that should be enough. Oh yeah, my friend, I'm very happy. It's a twin tip. And guess what? Denso K16 TR11. Good job, dealer. Good job, Mr. Technician. You put the right plugs, you torqued them good, and the job was done. At least we think so from the cylinder number 1. Spark plug is already back, and this is what I meant with cleaning. I think when I'm touching it, why just don't clean it? It gives me better feeling. Of course it slows me down, so I might be the slowest mechanic in the world because I'm playing too much with it. But I think this vehicle deserves it, the customer deserves it, so it's good. Now I will use the tool, but I will switch it to the only one which makes the torque, limits the torque, and I will not damage the thread or something. Also don't forget to clip that. And let's say something positive. If you look here, the technician routed the cables correctly. They might be crossing, but they are crossing where there is extra insulation. So this is actually done correctly on this side. Now what do you think about this PCV valve? Shall it be replaced? Maybe. There's definitely some dust. We might say unnecessary. Again, do you see those cracks in those lines? So you need to put it in the comments that the lines are cracked. This one is ripped, we said, completely. So that should be dealt with too. And since we are here together, why we don't attempt to fix this broken line? So I will grab the clamp and remove it and put it backwards. We said this is basically gone, and I'm saying attempt because I will cut it and hope that it's long enough, which it is. I know that. I can see it's long enough, but it will not crack again. I'm afraid basically that when I trim the rotten part off, I'm afraid that it will crack again. It happened in the past, it will be not the first time. But let's see. So I trimmed the end, the broken, cracked part. Let's see if I will engage it, if it will split again. I hope not. And he doesn't need to buy a new line. Here we go. That so far looks, feels and sounds good. Let's put that little clamp on it. And because the vacuum line, the line was long enough, there was a little bit of give in it, we actually fixed for him one problem. Are we able to save this one, which is completely cracked open too? Let's see. Let's see. Is this sharp enough? That was nice. Cut. All that rotted part is gone. But as I mentioned, there is a risk if that tube is really old. Let me zoom you to it. It will split again. So you can watch with me if it will happen or not. The length is still okay. I might get in your way, I'm sorry. But that's the way it is. Come on. Hop. Now look at it. He is lucky. No need to buy a new lines at all. It has a really fine grip on it. It fits perfectly. It will not fall. I can see it's hard to attach. Look at it. We fixed both this line and this one. The cracks. This is huge improvement already. But we are not here for repairs yet. We are here for inspection. What about the power steering, which is right here? I took off my gloves and here is the reason. I want to see the quality of the steering fluid. What's better thing to do than put it on your finger? Do you see how nice and transparent it is? So besides the fact it's an aftermarket clear color power steering, and it should be Dexron 3, which is red in color, the fluid seems to be clean and I don't have a problem with it. Of course you can flush it in the future, replace it to the Dexron 3, but it's optional and I will not call this big deal. So you can see I'm kind of going left to the right so I don't skip anything. What else you will look at? We did the power steering. What else you will look at? Well, what's about the drive belts? Now, these are, here I see Napa logo. I don't have a problem with that. It doesn't have to be Toyota. What we are looking for, it's here on the opposite side. Do you see those ribs? You're looking there, if you see the cracks in them. If these belts hardens, they are getting older, there will be cracks, and that will tell you, hey, these belts will need to be replaced. So I'm doing my best. Don't ever think they were installed in the same time, so check all three of them. There are three. Look at that. I will write down here, the drive belts have no cracks. Okay. I moved you around to see another inspection immediately right here in the center. Here is a cooling fan clutch. That clutch better be not slipping. When you put this effort on it to spin it, it better doesn't keep spinning like this, because then obviously that's kaput and it will be not cooling the engine coolant here in the radiator. So definitely this one is good. Next, don't skip the engine oil. Get a rag and check the engine oil. Hopefully the level is good, it's high enough, so we will wipe it off. Now the moment of the truth. No matter what the sticker on the windshield says, and look at it. The engine oil is low. It's in the 1/3, I will say. It started flowing, but it was way closer to the minimum than to the max. So also it's brown in color. That means if you will get it out of in the pan, it will look disgusting. I will write the level is low, recommend to replace soon. If you are inspecting possible purchase or a friend's truck, because you are becoming better and better professional watching this YouTube channel, I will give you another hint. Always remove that filler cap. Guess why? Because if the engine has a lot of sludge, it will be actually visible inside. Also, if maybe head gasket is going, there will be a lot of moisture. You can say that milkshake looking engine oil. This one, to me, looks perfect. there's no heavy deposits inside. I will just clean it around. And I'm not suspecting any internal engine problems because I don't get any hint in this area. Perfect. What about so important engine coolant? So never open this radiator cap when it's hot. It will blow on you and burn you badly. So let's say you are in a hurry, it's still hot. You cannot touch this, so you will not open it. But look at this. This is connected system to this coolant expansion tank. Do you think there is enough coolant? Of course not. Look, it's completely empty. There's barely anything on the bottom. What belongs in the 2003 Tacoma 5EZFE? What coolant belongs there? Long life. In that year, Toyota still didn't use the super long life. So look at it. I have a little funnel because I want to avoid the spills. And I will add a coolant. So there's no problem with this vehicle. We don't want to overheat it and destroy the engine core. And let's check the results. Way better, don't you think? So we made it in this area, almost done in the engine bay. Shall we go for battery? Easier. What do you say about this brake fluid? It seems to be not bad, but I will say it's not new. If you're looking from here, you actually realize that this brake fluid is contaminated and should be flushed. Somebody might ask, why will flush that brake fluid? Isn't another mechanics and garage scam just to pry money out of the people? Well, I just filmed for you 2-3 weeks ago completely seized front brake calipers on the Tundra, which each piece costs $250 plus the work, plus the flushing, plus the bleeding the air from the brake lines and so on. So the bill just keeps going up and up. Most likely it was caused by the presence of the contaminated brake fluid in the calipers. Between the piston and the caliper, very, very small tolerances, presence of the water. The contamination is the moisture from the air. That water will start making rust and suddenly they will stop moving. It's ceased. It cannot be fixed. It should be replaced. And the bill for customer keeps coming up and up. All you can prevent it with the flush, brake fluid flush, which periodically should be done, approximately 3 years. Again, depends where you live. It will be different than Florida and some high desert where it's dry. That will differ. You have to think about it. But that should be done, and it might save you from extremely costly repairs. Let's look on the clutch fluid. For some reason, people will, or services will, flush the brake fluid, but they keep forgetting about the clutch fluid. The fluid is the same, it's .3, it's written here, so I'm not lying to you. It's the same fluid, the same hydraulic system. This one is shorter, so to flush it you need way less fluid, and look on the condition. This one is nasty, black, and that should be replaced very soon. Now this one, on contrary with this one, if you don't do it, I don't think the damages can be so costly. But again, that should be Toyota maintenance, and that's the name of this channel. Back to that brake fluid. Look on the level. It says minimum and it's barely above it. It says maximum
and it's nowhere close to it. I made a video for you that the brake light warning light was displayed. It was Tacoma 2 in the dashboard. The customer came for repair. I checked the handbrake, which is there, the parking brake. The fluid was way higher than here today, but this sensor, the level sensor, was still triggering the warning. When I finally reached the max, it was finally and immediately the warning light went off the dashboard. So ideally, we always keep it on the max. So we know there's supposed to be .3 brake fluid. This one is from my supplier, O'Reilly. It's a synthetic, and it's definitely suitable for this vehicle. So I don't want this customer drive with the level to the minimum. I rather him to be leaving with a maximum. So we will just add. I'm not afraid of mixing them. I don't care what was in it. It's most likely identical thing. Look, now it's at the max. I will sleep better again, as I said maybe before, because I know they are topped. I used only a little bit of it, so even if he hires me for the flush later, which will probably not happen immediately, I don't mind using a little bit of fluid today and then flushing it away. I rather see this. I know his light will not go on after he will leave my shop. So I feel good right now. I'm pretty sure you agree. Also, from that low fluid, it's coming down in that reservoir, you can learn one more thing, what you will expect in the inspection. Why do you think that fluid is low when down? Do you think it evaporated? Because it does evaporate, and be careful working around it. It will go into your skin as a vapor, so never splash it on yourself. Wear the glasses and so on when you work with it. But now back to the why it is low. Well, it's low because the brakes the pads are getting smaller and smaller. The pistons in the caliper follow those brake pads getting smaller and smaller. Well, you see they moved. So the level of the fluid is also following that, and it's going down. We have front brakes, rear brakes. In the back it's drums, there are shoes there. The shoes are getting smaller again. The hydraulic system expands, therefore the fluid is coming down. We already got a hint from this that most likely the front brake pads or the rear brake shoes are low, and we will be recommended that as a repair. Another hint was the moment I started on test drive, I heard some squeaking from the brakes. On the other hand, this is vehicle driven in the dust, in the hills. It might be only sand, but looking on the fluid level, we might say, it's low. Why? Because the pads or shoes or both are already worn and they will need to be replaced. You see, there are many hints. If you work on the vehicles and you pay attention, there are many hints which actually point to other stuff. I will give you another example, and that might be our last item on this in-engine area inspection. Look with me on the battery. Well, here is the sticker, June 2014. If you work on the cars, or you maybe own a lot of cars, you will kind of see the trend. The batteries, and depending where you live again, they last approximately 5 years. This one, as you can see, it's already 6 and something years old. Let's go test it. You guys are familiar with this top-down battery tester, which I actually really can recommend to everybody. I believe you can buy it on Amazon. So look at this. We will connect it
somehow it says 12.62 volts. So by voltage you will say perfect, because that's good. English, in vehicle. It's not out, it's still connected to the vehicle. Before charge, I didn't charge it, and I'm looking. Cold cranking amps R640, which is CCA. So we say yes, and we will lift it to the 640. What do you think? Is it good still? Or it will actually fail the test? Let's see. I don't know. I'm not personally, I'm not the shady battery salesman, but look, that sticker, which fortunately nobody removed, immediately gave us hint. State of health, 53%. State of charge, and that's what we saw, it's charged perfectly, 98%. So when I said to this guy outside, when we opened the hood and had a chat as a new customer, I said, hey, look, this battery, it tells me that it's probably ending its life. He looked at me in disbelief, kind of like, oh, is this guy will try to sell me everything brand new? But look, this tester totally says the same. 12.62 volts. The capacity is 495 amps. Internal resistance 6.44. But this tester, it's already confirming, it can see that this battery is ending its life and most likely will start failing. Not tomorrow, but maybe within 6 months or so. We successfully inspected together everything accessible and visible in the engine bay, and I would love to continue this inspection with you, but it's impossible. This filming slows me so much down that I cannot fit a reasonable inspection in this time window which I have. Because of filming, I already spent 2 hours on this vehicle and I still didn't touch anything underneath, right? I would love to do maybe part 1 this video, part 2 when we go underneath, but I don't have that vehicle for a whole day. I have another car even coming in 1 hour. So these are the reasons. You many times comment, oh, I wish he did it complete. But I cannot. I have to pay bills fixing these cars. And maybe one day when YouTube will pay actually full pay, I can just close this shop to the public, take 1 car a day and do super awesome videos. I'm trying to get there, but I'm not there yet. I have to earn living money to survive in this world, working on the cars and charge the money for it. So I appreciate your viewing this video. I appreciate you subscribing, and maybe within a year or 2 we will have a YouTube channel which will exclusively does videos on Toyotas in detail, because I will have time and money for it. At this moment I will let you go. I'm sure you are busy, but this I wanted explain you why I cannot continue and do whole thing even in different video. It's the time and the way I'm scheduled. Let's cross fingers, maybe it will happen soon. Appreciate you, appreciate views, and have a great day, my friend. I will catch you in the next one.